Hello and welcome to my review of the iPhone 4S. Before I kick off this review of the iPhone 4S, I would like to give a quick shout out to my friend Tom McAvally. His channel is t.mc. It is a FIFA channel. It's very good. It has some nice series. He's got over 400 subscribers, so please subscribe to him as well, just to support his channel. It's very good, and he keeps a lot of footage out, and a lot of videos keep coming out, and they're very high quality. Also, please like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to comment, and let's get into this review of the iPhone 4S. Let's kick off this review by taking a look around the iPhone 4S. At the top we have the power button, and then alongside that we have the microphone, then also we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Down the left hand side we have the mute and orientation lock depending on what you choose in the software button. This is a very nice, it has a little vibrate once you go onto the orange side. Then we have the the volume rocker. These are very nice buttons because they're separate and they're quite pronounced away from the device. That is why I do like the iPhones, because they normally do have quite pronounced buttons. Then at the bottom we have speaker, and then we have two screws, and in the middle of them two screws is the 30 pin connector. Then next to that, it does look like a speaker, but it is a microphone. So it is supposed to basically make it look nicer, but it is a microphone. Then down the right hand side we have the SIM card tray, which is removed by the SIM ejection tool. On the back we have the camera, and then we have the LED next to it. Then we have a Apple logo and an iPhone logo at the back. Then we have a camera for a front facing camera. Then next to that we have the earpiece for making calls. Then we have the screen, which is only a 4.5-inch display, but it does fine. Then at the very bottom we have a very famous Apple button, which has now been replaced by the Touch ID button. I would like to quickly take a look at the build quality of this device. As it is an iPhone and you are paying a premium price for an iPhone, you would expect to get the highest quality of phone, and I don't think they've really disappointed in the iPhone 4S or the iPhone 5S or now the iPhone 6 or the 6 Plus. At the front we have the glass, but also at the back we have a glass. This reminds me very much of the Nexus 4, which had the glass at the back as well as the front, but it had a very cool underlayer which made it look very sparkly and very nice. This doesn't have it, it's just a black piece of plastic underneath, but it does look very nice. The only thing I could say about this is that if you do drop it without a case, I don't think you stand a chance of really hoping that you're not going to have a crack or even dent or anything in it. The most likelihood is it's going to smash, because as you can see it's slightly raised, not very much, but there's nothing covering the edge of the screen. It is literally just the screen impacting the ground as you drop it. At the sides we have chamfered metal, and I really like this effect. It does look very nice. It makes it feel quite premium, and this is also because of the weight. It's got quite a nice weight to it, so it does feel very premium in hand. Because it's got that 4.5-inch display, you wouldn't expect this phone to be massive, and it isn't. But Apple, for some reason, make this part and this part, so the bezels of the device, very large. I don't like this, but some people do. It just makes the phone unnecessarily bulky. I would rather it have a bigger screen and then have a bigger battery, and it just all should be bigger. But they've sorted this out on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, and sort of in the 5S by making it longer. But personally, I don't like that. But overall, it does have a very nice feel in the hand and very nice build quality, and it's probably one of the better that I've seen from the iPhones before they were plastic, and now we've started going more to metal. Now we're going to have a look at the specs of the iPhone 4S. First of all, it comes with an LCD LED backlit 3.5-inch display. It isn't massive, it's not going to be because it's one of the older iPhones. They've only recently introduced the larger iPhones, but mostly it is only got 330 pixel per inch, which is nothing great compared to today's standards where they're in the high 400s, if some getting close to 500 now, which is a whole new level of screen quality. Also, it has Corning glass on it, but it isn't 2 or 3, it's just the original because it is an older device. The iPhone 4S has a dual-core 1.1 GHz Cortex A9 CPU, which is nothing special. It runs games alright, but it can get very warm, which it can be annoying because as you do normally play quite a few games on your handheld device now. It does get warm and it can overheat, but it's not too bad if you're going to be playing lighter games. Then we have the GPU, which is a PowerVR. This is in fact, it's really well optimized for the software, so it runs smooth, and I haven't really encountered any lag while using this iPhone 4S. It has half a gig of RAM and it's DDR2. This is nothing special, but as I said, the software is optimized, so it's not too bad. You can live with just half a gig of. The connectivity on the iPhone 4S is nothing special either. It's got Wi-Fi 802, which is not bad. It's pretty average now for an older phone. It has Bluetooth 4.0, which is meeting today's standards. It has USB 2, which there is USB 3, but not many phones have incorporated it into their phones yet. Also, it has HSBA, which as it's an older phone, it's pretty good. Only in the iPhone 5, I think, that they've introduced LTE. So this was the last phone that doesn't have 4G. But it's still very quick and still pretty good and has very good coverage. So I'm not too surprised. But there's one main thing about this device, that it is a small phone and it's got no amazing specs because it is an older phone. It was announced in 2013, I think. So now it really is like behind. But because of that, the price is cheaper, which I'll talk about later. But overall, it is a very good device. But there, as I said, it is getting old and it is getting on a bit. So don't expect to be blown away by anything special because it is an older device now. The price of the iPhone 4S here is only £280 for the 16 gig model. This is very cheap because it is an older device. It's been out a couple of years now, 2 years. It's got 2 newer models, the iPhone 5 and then you have the 6 and the 6 Plus. So it is getting quite old now, this device, but it still performs pretty well, and this is why it's so cheap. For this device in a 32 gig model, it will cost you around £300, and then in the 64 gig model, it will cost you around £350. I'm saying around because basically, if you look online, most of the time you can get it a lot cheaper if you do dig for a good bargain. Normally, you might not find the exact device you want, so you might get it in the wrong carrier or the wrong colour or something like that, but normally they're a lot cheaper because it's getting older. People are trying to sell it and undercut the price that other people put it on. So places like CX and the places that sell second-hand devices try to buy the phone for as cheap as they can and sell it on for the most. But because of some things like eBay and Amazon that sell second-hand phones at a lot lower prices because the people set the price of what they want, they are starting to lose business. Well, not lose business exactly, but people are not selling as much because you're not getting as much money. So theoretically, you can get this device probably, if you look careful enough, you get it quite close to £200, probably 220 quid. But it is how much you look for the device. It's not how much the place is. You have to look around to get the best deal. But apart from that, it is a very good price because it is an older device, but it still runs fantastically. The iPhone here, which is the 4S, only has an 8 megapixel camera. This 8 megapixel camera right here is a really good camera, even though it's got 8 megapixels. The sensor is amazing on this camera because it's got an f.24 aperture, which is quite large. It takes in a lot of light, and the the focus overall seems very above standard compared to devices which have a high megapixels, such as something like the Galaxy S4, which was made at about the time, and things like the Nexus 4. The cameras were good, but they were nothing special. Probably the S4 was probably the better out of the two, but this is certainly up there considering it's only got 8 megapixels. Sorry. It's got some good features because it's got an LED right next to it, which isn't bright, but it's not too bad. But it's got like stuff like a 5-element lens, autofocus, touch focus, panorama, and face detection. And going on to the filming side of things, it goes at 1080p, full HD recording at 30 frames per second, and it has video stabilization, also touch to focus, face detection as well. This means that it is a really good quality filming, and I would highly recommend filming this due to having such a good sensor and it filming such high quality. The front-facing camera on this device is appalling compared to today's standards, but it's just fine if you want it for casual use. It takes VGA quality pictures and VGA resolution video recording. So if you're going to be FaceTiming people, it won't look the best, but it will do because it's not the high-end phone. Like some phones, like the OnePlus One, is 5 megapixels, and it takes really nice selfie or pictures on the front camera. But compared to the back, it's nothing special. I would definitely say if you're looking for a selfie camera to go elsewhere, this is not going to be the phone for you, even though the price is amazing. This iPhone 4S is running iOS 8.1.1. This, I think, is the closest version I can get to at the moment of iOS, and it is running pretty well. As you can see there, it is running 8.1.1. For now, it has been running very smoothly. It is obviously been optimized for this device, so it does run pretty smoothly, but I've encountered not too much lag, and it is pretty quick overall. The apps still run pretty cleanly, but sometimes you encounter a bit of lag, maybe a slightly bit of overheating if you are like putting heavy intensive games. But overall, it's pretty good. Opening some apps does take a long time. Most of the time, it's not too bad, but sometimes it does take a while to see how there was that slight delay. If you had like such an iPhone 6, you wouldn't get that, but it's just because it's an older device. As you can see, it takes a little bit longer to open up the camera app because it is a slightly old device. But overall, iOS 8.1.1 is running very well on this device. And if you do want the latest iOS, I wouldn't go for this. I would probably go for an iPhone 5 or 6. But overall, this is a great device if you do want iOS for a budget price. If you do want an Apple device and you do want the latest software, I wouldn't recommend this phone, but if you want an Apple product at a cheap price and running quite normal software, this is the latest software, sorry. This is probably one of the better ones because at the moment Nest has got the latest software, but soon it will probably be discontinued for the updates, so it won't be that good. It will be pretty useless, to be honest with you. Basically, this is a good built phone. It's got alright back camera. It runs pretty well, but as you can see right here, it is absolutely dwarfed by my OnePlus One right here. The OnePlus One has an 5.5-inch display, and the iPhone don't come anywhere near that. As you can see, it is very small compared to this. But if you do like the smaller form factor of the iPhone, this probably will be the sort of better option. But if, say, you wanted a slightly cheaper device, I would probably go elsewhere because in some ways it's a good device, but in some ways it isn't. But overall, if you're looking for a cheap iPhone just so you can have that Apple brand and you can use iMessage and FaceTime, this is probably the way to go. But if you want a cheap device which you don't really mind the operating system, it's probably better to go on something like the OnePlus One, which costs a little bit cheaper for the 64 gig and a little bit cheaper for the 16 gig as well. So, and it's got the latest specs, got better camera, it's got 4K camera, it's got stuff like that. But overall, because this device is older, you're not going to be expected to have the greatest specs. But definitely decide carefully when buying this iPhone because soon it will be discontinued for the latest updates. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you want to see any special videos such as a Q&A or what's on my phone. leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.
Tomorrow is another day.